right, let's jump on into this stuff, guys. This is going to be a really cool breakdown of some stuff. I want to make sure that I've got the right bot pulled up. Hang tight. So what we're going to do is actually jump into some stuff when it comes to chatbots, because a lot of people, they're overwhelmed. They don't know really what's going on, and they don't want to get too overwhelmed with it, but also they know that they need to create more time. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to jump into a chatbot that I'm actually building out right now, and when Zoom decides to behave, I'm going to go ahead and jump on into this puppy, because one of the biggest things that people have got to remember is, like, when you're building out a chatbot, you cannot just go out flippantly and just think that, you know, I need to go do some stuff just because. That's the most dangerous place to be at, because a lot of times it can serve either as a distraction, or it can help as become a tremendous aid. So let's just jump into it. And so Selling Hardscapes is a brand that has come to life because in my first venture ever, going out on my own after my dad passed away, we did over $250,000 in 9 months in revenue. You know, it's gross revenue, contracts with over, just 6 contracts is phenomenal. But one of the greatest things is not only building a chatbot out for my own self, but also for also with the building out of the also the clients that I'm working with. So there's a 2-prong to the chatbots. I want to make sure that I'm working with very, very specific type of people. And let me go ahead and jump back over here to here. Okay, cool. And if you guys have any questions in the meantime, what I'm going to do is actually drop in the link, so this way you guys can go get to, if you enjoy any of this stuff, you can go get your membership. It starts at $27 a month. Probably spend more than that on McDonald's a month. I know I do. So anyways, let's jump into it, because one of the most important things is looking at how to build the chatbot out after modeling it with your website. So if you got a website, if not, don't worry, do not stress. I know some people are like, I don't have a website, and it's okay. So let's jump into some of the top things that people are always asking, always wanting to know, and then we're going to dig into how some of these components can actually benefit your CRM or ways with your team. Because you and I both know a chatbot is not a matter of bells and whistles. It's all about the practicality of it. What is the tactical application to a chatbot? So this way, with my workflow and my time that I'm spending answering all these questions, like, what are some of the things that I need to build this thing out? So we're going to jump into the welcome message, and this is the general catch-all. These are the things that people, when they go to your Facebook page, these are the things that they are wanting to know, as far as like the generic, the basic stuff. What are the hours? Well, like, say you're a restaurant, what is the menu, etc. So with Selling Hardscapes, people are going to want to know, what the heck is this all about? So I'm going to jump in here and create some stuff. You want to, when you're creating the content type, you want to go ahead and just do other. And so, hey, hang on, that's not how you do it. Create the code. Here we go. Welcome to Selling Hardscapes, and just a general welcome. Let's see, because we're here. And don't worry about any typos. I am the worst at typing stuff out. I'll send stuff back to clients, and they're like, hey, bro, by the way, did you know it said thongs instead of things? And I'm like, oops. And that's why we have testing. So, there we go. So help you out in our automated assistant. Isn't that bright, but it gets the job done. One of the best things is writing it out, and also to getting stuff out of your head into writing out the chatbot. So this way you can start to go back, and when it's out of your head, you can go back, rework it, so you don't have to get it perfect the right time. But let's see. We'll do the trick. Apply stop at any time. So it gives people a little bit of a chuckle. Let's see, that being said, how can we help? So one of the main things is that when you're talking with people, when you're chatting with folks about different stuff, like, what are the top 3 things that they ask for? And like, what are your most popular services? What are your MVPs? Because if people are going through there, they're wanting to get more information about something right now, get a visual aid. and start to actually talk about different options that they're going to get. So one of the biggest things for here is like, what are you? What are we? Etc. How can you help me? Because a lot of landscapers, when it comes to stuff, they get yanked around, jerked around by some of the dumbest marketing tactics out there without ever having a blueprint. So like, how can I help you? Oh, hang on. How can we help you? You know, we want to make sure it's all sounds all professional. And then let's see, probably too many letterings. Yep. Let's see. Boom. Whoa, I almost had it right. There we go. All right, so one of the biggest things in building out a chatbot is you can track all of the data. One of the most important things is that when you're going through here, we're going to zoom in and out of this, and this is where the creative and the technical start to combine. And you want to be able to track a lot of the data in here as far as like what options of these that they pick. So this way you know which one's performing the best. Because if you're not going to be able to track a lot of this in the beginning, in the preliminary, then what happens is you're just going to lose a lot of the data that you could actually take back into your ecosystem when it comes to Facebook and also other on your website as well. And so with that being said, you can say, for instance, they click the button and say, hey, who are we? So they're wanting to know more about you. So they're not 100% convinced. They need to know more details and find out what is the vision, what do you stand for, what is going on. And I'm not saying this is a specific like lick and stick for you as far as like these different options. I'm just saying this is what most people are going to ask selling hardscapes and figure out what the heck is this all about and how can we actually help and benefit with them. So right now I've got cold, warm, hot, right? So these are the different categories of the audience, the people who are very curious and let the curiosity convert over to cash. And so one of the most important things for that, let's see. So when it comes down to creating the different categories, you want to make sure people are understanding why they're here, what's going on. And so we'll just come here and we'll tag in this, and we'll do tag is just really let's do cold audience. Let's go to here. And these are just little nicks and little tricks here and there. And let's go a little indication so that way you know. And also know exactly where they're at, but also let's go this one. And one of the coolest things for here is making sure we've got a lot of the components put in there. We want to make sure that the admins are being able to be notified like anybody that's on my team. And right here, I want to make sure that I can come back into live chat. If you didn't catch the last video about this, where one of the components is a live chat. So you can go back in there in real time, converse with people, talk with them, follow up with them in real time, and pause the automation so that way it's not you and the bot talking at the same time. I think it's a little weird, so you don't want to do that. Let's go to here. Let's see. We'll come back to this in a little bit. But this way, one of the things is log conversion events. This is where we can actually track whether or not it's converting into an appointment, or if this is worth $47, this is worth $2, this is worth $100, this is worth $1,000. You know, whatever your business is, if this is worth $5,000, then getting into this part of this. I mean, I'm doubtful that you can correlate that to a dollar amount in the first welcome message, but if you can, fantastic. But that's there for you if you need it. So let's go to here, especially with this. Let's go to notify the admins. One of the main things that I love to do is being able to engage a team, an administrative team. So this way they can go in, monitor any of the conversations. So this way, if there's someone that's really teeter-tottering on a decision, then we definitely want to make sure that we're getting them hooked in. So we want to come here, we'll go back and, hang on, wrong button. So I went out done over here in the actions. One of the biggest things you can do is actually take the information from here, and you can see here's a lot of different options, and also there's with the Facebook custom audience as well. Anybody who's deciding to go to a website or get to this part of the chatbot, you can actually feed this back. I said website, I'm sorry, probably confused someone on that. But you can go through here and click your audience, your custom audience if you've already set it up, and then be able to push that back into from the that notch in the chatbot over to the custom audience, so you can actually close the loop on the data and do some really cool damage with it. Let me come back over here to the YouTube, see if there's anybody on here. Nope. Okay, cool. And let's go back over here. Let me stop sharing just for a hot second. Let's get this over to Facebook Live. And this way we can start to broadcast over there as well, because I want to make sure we get this out there and get it right. So if you have any questions, drop them in the chat or drop them in the comments. Let me go ahead and get this live over here because this is going to be really, really cool. Let's go to this. And actually, let me make sure that I've got this updated on the description over on YouTube as well. And I'm telling you, this is going to be really fun. If you guys have not done anything yet with membership, it only starts at 27 bucks. And it's really cool to be able to capture a lot of this stuff and dig even deeper into it, because we're going to actually start to dive into a lot of the good stuff when it comes to how you can apply this in your marketing. Actually apply this into both within your business, both in the beginning part of it, diagnosing if you're ready for it, but also too, if you are ready for it, what part of it is going to actually be able to build into your business, and also too making sure that you've got everything lined up and everything with your sales, with your follow-up, with your administrative team, with the different components of your marketing, your SEO. Is this a help desk? Is this going to help push people into the sales process and actually be able to build the rapport with them? Because you and I both know it's not just about the opt-in. It's not just about the leads. Come on. It's about the follow-up. You and I both know it's 7 times harder to get a new lead compared to actually building a relationship with them. And so it's so important. And when we're able to build that relationship with folks and actually understand their pain points, find their weak spots, and actually help them with what's really going on, one of the most important things is being able to actually convert that need over into the oh gosh, what do you call it? Being able to help them do a solution, brain fart. Hello. So being able to convert that over into a solution for them and actually understand their need instead of just throwing stuff against the wall and hopefully it'll stick. So let's go and jump into it really quick again. And for some reason, the Facebook Live is not behaving. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see. All right, I'm new to trying to get this over here on Facebook too. Hang tight. Let's go ahead. Yeah, technology's acting a little funny. All right, hang tight, guys. Sorry about that. All right, we're gonna come over here. It's gonna just slap on the YouTube embed and be rocking and rolling. So anyways, with that being said, let's jump back over into the chatbot. We'll figure that out later on. But one of the most important things is that with the setting up the custom audiences and actually understanding their need, it's important to be able to have not only the chatbot that's working on your behalf to help with your sales process, but also with your administrative team. You want to keep in mind it's not just about the dollar monetary amount, it's also about the invisible quantitative amount that you can put into the time that's taken them to go back and respond and bring focus into what they're really doing and what's going to move the needle for your business. So when it comes down to pinging, setting up these different notifications in the back end of the chatbot, you want to keep in mind, okay, how am I going to bombard my administrative team and actually to overwhelm them with some of the dumber stuff? You don't want to bog them down with a lot of the things that's not going to make sense. You want to get their attention with what's going to be relevant. Oh man, I need to jump in here right now and actually answer this support ticket or this need, and actually answer their questions right in real time. So if you're going to be able to capture a lot of organic Facebook, if you say you got a group, if you got a page, and you've also got, of course you need a page, but if you're jumping into groups and being able to engage with them, then you want to make sure that you're actually benefiting them and not trying to do too much all at once. And so if you're able to really, if you're able to be strategic in how you're notifying your administrative team, it takes that workload off of your table, off of your shoulders, and also helps you breathe 10 times easier. And so let's go ahead and let me come over here. I'm gonna speed through some of this stuff, and let's go through this into it and be good to go. And so as I'm doing any of this, if you're checking out the membership, go ahead and get that. And you're going to want to also make sure you get into the affiliate program, because that's where the fun begins. And if you're an expert in the field, let me know, because that's where a lot of this, let's see. And a lot of this too is I'm going to come over into sellinghardscapes.com, pull a lot of the content, a lot of the written content over from that, and actually connect with them, and I just pull that over there and just correlate to keep the consistency. So, because if you're writing stuff out in one area and it seems really, really good, reuse it. Don't complicate stuff. And oh, hang on a second. When I'm on Zoom and live streaming, like my computer goes 10 times slower for some odd reason. All right, let's go back over here while that's loading and say we're one of the biggest things is that when you're digging down deeper, you want to make sure that you're expounding on the curiosity. When you're expounding on the curiosity, you're going to also build that momentum, and also with being able to understand that rapport. Let's see. So what I'm going to do actually here, let's see. All right, so this is where I'm going to start actually tying in some of these things here from right now. I may come back at it later and look at this and say, yeah, you know what? Never mind. That's probably a bad idea. But just keep it loosey goosey. Keep it fun. And a lot of this right now, if your eyes are glazing over, then that's more than likely a sign that you're going to want to get the membership so you can start to learn at your own pace, because this stuff is not going to overnight. All right, let's go to tell me more. All right, so it's gonna be warmer audience, and that's where, let's see, how can we help you? And that's where I'm gonna bring this over to, actually, you know what? Let's go to here. One of the quick ways, like one little shortcut is coming into here. Let's actually, because I wanna remove the tagging and from this previous box, and let's come to here. Actually, I wouldn't even really need to do that. So let's come back to this. Let's come to here. And I can actually go ahead and add this here because it's adding the cold tag. What I'm going to do is remove cold, and let's go to here. Remove that. It's going to add the tag warm, and it's going to actually put this right there. So one of the really cool shortcut ways that is being able to understand their needs. We see provide them a business in a box. I'm going to come back and change the pronouns. Let's say business in a box. Help with everything from skill trade training. I'm going to come in here and come back and sexy it up a little bit later on, so you don't have to, though it's not a whole block of text, but you'll see here in a little bit. Let's go skill trade training, marketing. Let's see. Well, marketing is more, I don't really want to lead with marketing because it's way more than that. Marketing is usually the last part of this. Skill trade training, let's see, let's go to profit margins, you know, how scaling from one to multiple crews, scaling to multiple crews. Let's see. How do you keep the logistics there? Scale to multiple crews. Profit margins. Did I already put that? Yep, I already did. Leverage lines of credit. All right. Yeah, come on. Also, too, I look at the keyboard when I type. And so I'm going to put this into a little checkbox, how to leverage lines of credit. Future-proof off-season. All right. So one of the things in here is this looks really, really crowded. Okay. On mobile, this is going to look like a lot. Okay. And so let's go to here. And so I want to come down, and one of the tricks that I love to use, or not tricks, but one of the resources I love to use is Wikipedia, because sometimes I can just come here and just copy and paste an emoji instead of having to do what I'm about to show you here in a second. All right, so right here, you can come down here, you can see there's a bracket symbol, and there's also a smiley face. The brackets are going to be the first name, where you can personalize a lot of stuff. You can see here, page ID, last interactions, opted into SMS. Like, these are the things, like little bits of data, like especially right here, yearly gross income. Like, what are some of the things that I can actually ask them? So, when I'm fleshing out a lot of this, I'm going to come back in and increase the personalization to it, because that way I can get all that. But I'm getting the bulk and the big rocks out of my heart, so that way I can put them here in front of it. I can move it back around and reorganize it. But you're getting the picture. So this is not always the way to build the chatbot to feed into itself. There's so many other ways you can do it. But you can start to see that this is where a lot of the data, and you can start to expound on this. And this is where it starts to get really cool, because let me actually collapse this right here. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit to move this up here, so I can pull out my handy dandy marker and start to annotate right here. Smiley face. But when it comes to your bot, this is like phase one right here. And you've got the different phases of where, like, we've got different categories and buckets of people. Like, this is cold, hot, or warm, and then hot. But there's also different steps in between all of this. And then you've got different split tests and other ways they can go. They can go this way. They can go that way. They can go down this way. They can go back up and re-around. Like, it is crazy how many times, or different routes that someone can take and make it to where people really, you want to know that sales process, that marketing process in your business. So this way you're not over here trying to do everything which way, and from 6 ways to Sunday. And so when I come to here, let me actually pull up my eraser. Let's come to here. But you want to make sure that when you're coming into like this part of it, when they start right here, when you're starting here, this is the go. And then we have everything else around it to where they are trying to understand, wrap their mind around exactly what's going on. And so for here, when they're coming into the welcome side of this, they're going to go into either this one, or this one. Like these different buckets, because that's just where they're at. This is life. This is not a matter of like, let me try and close them, like hard close them, like hoorah. Forget about that. Let's actually socially sell and actually connect with folks and build a deep relationship with them and actually understand their heart. And so with that being said, you want to make sure that you get their information first, because we're going to go back into this part of it right here and get their name, number, and email, etc. All the populates from Facebook, quote unquote, just in case we get disconnected, right? So this way you can start to follow back up with them, connect with them, and also start to launch ads, launch content more strategically, even organically, to a degree where you can feed that information back into an organic ecosystem and start to actually, when you start to launch ads, that dollar amount is going to actually have carry more weight than it would be if you're just split testing $100 a day on an ad set that's not going to convert. I mean, if you have the capital and cash flow to do that, fantastic, have fun with it. But also to know that, what doesn't convert on $1 to $3 to $5, et cetera, on the smaller scale, it's going to take the it's going to be harder to convert it at a larger scale, regardless of what the dollar is, $100, $1,000, $1 million a day. And there's people that are spending that amount of money on ad spend per month, per day. It depends on the size of the operation. And so that's where, when you're building these chatbots, it depends on, even if it's local, I build them all the way up to enterprise and companies that have a couple million users per month. A couple thousand. You look at 20,000 users on the website. Any given second of the day, you have a different amount of data to work with, and that's where, when you're building all this out to go to the close, that's why when working with people, these are the different types of components that you want to make sure that you're connecting with folks and building an edge throughout your sales process. But it's always evolving and growing. It's never going to stop. So with that being said, you want to make sure that as you are growing as a human being, you're taking the time to go back into your systems, whether it's a chatbot, whether it's something else. You want to make sure that you're connecting things to people. So this way, when they're going through all of this, whether they go through it, they stop right here, or they take all the way to the end, that your live chat and your different types of mechanisms working together. Because we're also, you can extract
different types of data, levels of engagement with the automation, and correlate that to quantitative data to be able to say, look, this is my KPIs and my key performance indicators throughout my entire business ecosystem. And in this way, I know exactly what I'm doing as far as taking a video. How am I taking a video from this organic piece of content by streaming it from Zoom over to YouTube, over to Facebook, etc., but then bring it all the way back down to back down into a chatbot. Yeah, it's amazing what happens when it comes down to being able to create a domino effect with your workflow when it comes to your content, creating organic exposure without complicating anything. It's amazing because when it comes down to it, you're not the only one struggling. Everyone is trying to scramble and not be like Toys R Us who died, And so it's very important that when it comes down to, it's amazing to be able to connect into how everyone is able to connect not only with your business, but also too with yourself and your team because of your company culture. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this video up. We're going to stop this one in. Hopefully this helps to shed some light on the benefits of the back-end logistics and operations of how a chatbot can actually benefit you. We'll start to go over the next video of how this chatbot will be progressing. And that way you can start to dive into the psychology of the automation and understand that how it's going to actually benefit your team and offset some of the more redundant tasks, and you're able to upgrade that as the CEO into higher paying tasks and not increase their pay. So that's where you're making your money back on that, because if you're paying them, if it's a virtual assistant, if it's a in-house intern, if it's somebody that is the administrative coordinator, etc., then you're paying them your certain rate, but then with that money that you're paying them, if you can offload that and then cross-train them in the process into the new skill set or something that they've been begging you for to get off of their plate, but you haven't known how. And so you say you're paying them $3 to $7 to $15 to $20 to $30 an hour, and you can upgrade that time into so whatever the next level is. To say it's $7 an hour, $15 an hour to doing what they're doing, or even $5 an hour, $3 an hour, depending on the level of virtual assistant you have. It's amazing to see how this can actually start to connect with folks and benefit them as well. So hopefully this helps you out. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here, and I'm going to actually live stream this over to Facebook and a couple other places as well. But hopefully this benefited you. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to break this up again and do another video as well. Hopefully it's enough to help digest, consume, wrap your brain around it. I don't want to overwhelm you and seem like I'm talking over your head to feel super important. I don't really care about all that. I want to make sure that you're able to digest this and understand this, but also too, go back and not have to shuffle around into some other stuff as well. So hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and I look forward to catching with you soon.